Hey guys, it's Jeff, and today we are actually ordering the iMac Pro. So in this video, we are actually going to go over the pricing for the iMac Pro, go over what we selected for our configuration, and why, basically. Why we selected certain parts and why we chose to make the upgrades that we did. So first of all, I'd just like to say that we are on the education store here. I'll go throughout the education store for all of you educators, students, anything like that, where you apply for this discount. I'll just show you what our price was for the configuration that we had selected. It looks like everything is set here. And yes, it is set. So $65.79 would be the price for the configuration that we bought. And really that price would go up to $71.11, so just above $7,100 for tax, the inclusion of tax. And I'm in California, so tax is a little bit higher here. So as far as that goes, that's your price if you are an educator and you are selecting that exact configuration. So there was a good discount in there. I think it was about like $500. So anything with this configuration, $500. That could be the addition of a graphics card almost. So I'd say that's a pretty good deal. But let's exit the education store here and let's go back to the configuration for the iMac Pro, and we'll go over what we selected for the upgrades and why. So first thing you'll notice when going to basically set up the order for the iMac Pro is here you have a configure button. They have like a buy now and then configure, but with the iMac Pro, they are fully expecting for you to basically make upgrades as a creator. So let's start off by looking at what comes with the standard configuration, and this is basically stock iMac Pro. So it comes with a 3.2 gigahertz 8-core Intel Xeon W processor, and that turbo boosts up to 4.2 gigahertz, 32 gigabytes of ECC memory, 1 terabyte SSD, Radeon Pro Vega 56, and the standard accessories that come with basically any iMac. As far as what we're going to be selecting is basically set up for our workflow as of now and for the future. So let's talk a little bit about the processors in the iMac Pro. We'll scroll down here and you'll see several different processor types, and obviously the prices vary quite a bit. And when you're looking at these prices, this is in addition to the current price. This isn't $2,400 for the processor, it's $2,400 on top of the processor. So keep that in mind when you're going throughout the order, and just want to make sure that you understand how the Apple process works for configuration, in case you didn't know. So we'll go and basically select what we had ordered. This is the 3.0 gigahertz 10-core Intel Xeon W processor, and that turbo boosts to 4.5 gigahertz. So the reason why we selected the 10-core is we are obviously editing a lot of videos. Editing videos in Final Cut is very hard on the CPU. So you'll definitely need to have a good amount of power. Now we've been using our current iMac, and I'll just show you here. We do have a 4.2 gigahertz Intel Core. I think that's a 7700K. It's the highest you can get with the current iMacs, the 2017 models. So yes, that is definitely a good processor, but the limited cores kind of drag on the editing process, and you're not able to edit as fast and render as fast. So with the iMac Pro, obviously you're getting multi-core, a lot of cores in those processors, and anything from 8 on is going to be a noticeable difference, because in the 7700K you only have 4. So you're getting double the cores just right off the bat. Now we chose the 10 core because we definitely needed a little bit more than the 8 core. Basically with 10 cores, I believe that would be pretty good for video editing. I'd say 10 cores would be the max that I would go for video editing, simply because 14 and 18 cores just wouldn't make sense. And at the time, Final Cut Pro isn't exactly taking advantage of every single core past a certain amount. So really 10 cores would be great. It does have that turbo boost up to 4.5 gigahertz, which is great. It's fantastic. It'll boost that speed. And I think that's what we'll need. Now, if you are doing any sort of 3D rendering, virtual reality, anything like that, I would definitely consider going to the 14 or 18 cores because you are definitely going to need all of those cores working on your project or whatever you're creating. Now you might be looking at the speeds here: 3.2 gigahertz, 3, 2.5, and 2.3. You might be wondering why those are going down. Well, all of these cores run at a certain speed, and 2.3 gigahertz for 18 cores would be all cores running at 2.3 gigahertz. Now, you can't have them all running at a higher gigahertz because that would create a lot of heat, and obviously with iMacs, heat is already a problem. So Intel did have to create these specially for the iMac Pro, and these are the speeds that they can run at. Now, when you get a turbo boost up to 4.3, 4.5 gigahertz, really that is just turbo boosting a couple of cores, not all of them at once. So keep that in mind when you're placing your order. One other thing I just wanted to mention is, again, these are all made for the iMac Pro. These are definitely going to work with any of the Pro applications like Logic Pro X, Final Cut Pro 10. You have GarageBand, Movie, iMovie, stuff like that. Any of the Apple programs, they're definitely going to work very well with those because they're optimized, or these Pro apps are now optimized to work with these processors extremely well. So that is the processor we selected. If you have any questions about processors, definitely leave them in the comment section down below. I've been on Apple forums already, people asking questions of which iMac Pro processor they should select. So I have a little bit of more insight into that, but I won't bore you with more details on the processor. So just ask me in the comment section down below if you have any questions. Now let's go on to memory, and memory is really important, especially for the work that we do in video editing. On Final Cut Pro, your timeline is basically saved to the memory so that you can get that smooth, buttery feel across the timeline when you're editing. Now, you might want to know what memory configuration you should be getting. If you're doing any sort of video editing, I'd say the least you should do is 64 gigabytes. Now, obviously with the iMac Pro 2017 model, or actually the iMac, the regular iMac 2017 model and some models before that, you could upgrade the memory on your own. With this new ECC or ECC memory with the iMac Pro, that is built in. There's no way for you to do that without taking it to an Apple certified manufacturer, Apple certified, basically a repair shop for Apple computers. So they would have to take your screen off and get into your computer to upgrade that memory. So it would really cost you quite a bit of money. So that's where Apple kind of gets you here. Obviously, you have $800 extra for 64 gigabytes and then a whopping $2,400 for 128 gigabytes. That is insane. So really, you are paying a huge premium for memory, and that's how it's always been. But with this, you basically have to choose before you order. So we chose the 64 gigabytes basically because, to be honest, we don't have the money to go all the way to 128 gigabytes. That's quite a hefty fee for memory, regardless of its ECC memory. The 64 gigabytes I think would do us well. We're not using that many memory modules right now, so I think it would be a upgrade anyways, going to that 64 gigabytes. And I think that'll do us well. I think that the decision to not go to the 128 basically was the price. That is really insane. And if we absolutely need that in the future, we can always, get that done aftermarket. So with storage, we'll move down to storage. Really right now, we have a 1 terabyte SSD in our iMac. We edit off of external hard drives, which is the MyBook Duos, each in 20 terabyte configurations. So we have like 40 terabytes. Our Final Cut Pro kind of library is over a terabyte. So obviously we cannot have just 1 terabyte of storage. And when you start looking at some of the solutions outside of upgrading your internal memory, you obviously get a lot more bang for your buck. Even though it's not internal, you're still getting speed. Now, again, we cannot upgrade to 4 terabytes because that's absolute insane of a price. It's way too much, and simply we're going to run out anyway. We're going to be starting to use red footage from red cameras, so 8K footage is definitely going to take up a lot of storage. I think we'll eat through those 4 terabytes in no time, given that we save all of our videos. So I don't think that an upgrade to the 4 terabyte SSD is, we can kind of justify that. Now, we do have a 1 terabyte that we're using right now, as I said before, and I think that's up to like 300 gigabytes of storage used so far. So it would just make no sense to upgrade the storage. But if you have any questions on storage and speeds and stuff like that, let me know in the comment section down below. Let's move on to graphics, and this is super important for us, especially with video editing. Now, the Radeon Pro Vegas, they're not my graphics card of choice. Apple obviously sees value in them, and has obviously been working with AMD for a while, since they've been putting AMD graphics chips in a lot of their products for a long time now. So that's what we have to deal with. We are going to be using an external GPU, but we'll talk about that in just a second. For the internal graphics card, I am going to be going with the Vega 64 in 16 gigabytes of HBM2 memory, and I'll explain why. Right now we have 4 gigabytes of memory on our AMD graphics card, and that is just not enough. Now, we could go to the 8 gigabytes, which would be a jump up, and especially with the HBM2 memory, which is way faster than the memory that's on our current card, that would definitely give us a boost. But with the red code raw footage and just our whole workflow that we're going to be working with, I think that we are going to need that boost to 16 gigabytes. And back to the eGPU setup, Final Cut Pro basically has been limited to be using onboard graphics a little bit more. It'll basically favor onboard graphics more than an external graphics solution. So Apple's kind of adaptation or allowance of eGPUs and kind of streamlining Mac OS to use or to be able to use eGPUs seamlessly, I think that was kind of a really messed up thing to start doing that and then throttle the performance in Final Cut Pro. So, the reason why we basically have to upgrade is because I need the most performance we can get from an iMac Pro, and I'm afraid that we might not get all of that performance when using an eGPU setup. Nevertheless, we will still be using the eGPU setup, and we will be using one of our 1080 Ti's. I think I'm going to pull the hybrid out of my current PC right now, and then use some of the regular 1080 Ti's that we have for the PC. So we'll be using that, and hopefully we'll get some good render times. And as far as gaming performance on an iMac, I guess you could kind of make that stretch to gaming on an iMac if you wanted to. Now, one thing with graphics, I kind of already explained what we'll be using that for. Graphics, specifically for Final Cut Pro, will basically speed up your render times, and that's super important for users like me, especially because I upload same day videos a lot. I start the editing process maybe at 8 o'clock, and then I'm done by 11, because I released a lot of updates to iOS, Mac OS, stuff like that. So it's all within one day. So this will greatly improve our render times and get that out to YouTube as fast as possible, which is better for you guys, better for us, so that we can get that information to you guys as soon as possible. So this will really help our workflow with editing videos, and it will really take out the pain of dealing with slow render times where you could obviously be doing other things. So that's all about graphics. If you have any questions about graphics, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. I'd be more than happy to kind of go over those questions with you. Now let's talk about the accessories that come with the iMac Pro. Obviously you have the Magic Mouse, which comes standard with the iMac Pro. I mean, for $7,100 now, even at $5,000, obviously they're going to give you that Magic Mouse for free. Now the Magic Trackpad and the Duo will cost you a little bit more. Let's see here, $149 for both, and then $50 to upgrade to the trackpad and leave out the mouse. So basically, I don't use the Magic Trackpad now. I have one. I'm not really a fan, and I definitely wouldn't need both since I'm not even using the one I have. So I think I'll just stick with the Magic Mouse that I have currently, or the model that I have. I'll definitely be using the black just to see if it has a different look to it. I'm really excited to see the black accessories. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. So we'll just go with the Magic Mouse. And then obviously the keyboard down here, you'll see the keyboard is the standard US English keyboard. We'll be using that one, and it will include the numeric keypad on the right hand side, so it's not the shorter version of the Magic keyboard. Base mount, we won't be mounting this to anything. We'll have it sitting on a 12 South stand. And for any of the software, we already have those pieces of software, so we don't need any of that. And that's basically our configuration. So our configuration comes to $71.99, and then you'll have to add tax on top of that. But just for any of you that are looking for basically the highest priced iMac Pro that you can get, let's just kind of bump everything up here. I mean, that's just specs. Not looking at any of the accessories, you can get up to nearly $14,000 here at $13,200. So that's quite expensive. I mean, you'd really have to justify that, those upgrades when making that purchase. But also keep in mind that, with this price for around $7,200 for our configuration, less, being a student, this does come with a 5K display. I think a lot of PC enthusiasts actually are really overlooking that, because they compare machines that are around the same price at $5,000, but they don't have a 5K screen, and it's really hard to get your hands on a really good 5K screen, especially the one that comes with the iMac Pro and the iMacs. These screens are absolutely amazing. I don't think I could use anything else as my main monitor. So that's why I'm going with the iMac Pro, and that's why I really, think that this was a good purchase. Now, looking at the Mac Pro that might be coming out later in the year, we'll have to take a look. But I think the main feature of this computer would be the 5K screen that really drew us to buy this machine and justify the purchase. So guys, that's about it for the order that we made for the iMac Pro. If you have any questions about our order or anything like that, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll have our thank you page up on the screen here, just so you can see exactly what we ordered and the price that we paid. And just keep in mind that is the education discount applied for that price. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I know I was rambling on a little bit, but thank you for watching. If you have any questions, again, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll see you in the next video.